What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. Um, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether this next season, the 2025-26 season, would truly be LeBron James's last year in the NBA. It seems to be, I would say for the first time, a lot of growing sentiment that this just may be his last year. Although over the last couple of days, there have been some reports. I think there was a report saying that Austin Reeves said LeBron told him that, he could play until he's 45 or 50 years old. But a lot of it could just be talk, you know what I mean? But according to Shams Charania of ESPN, Savannah James, LeBron James's wife, most definitely wants him to retire within a year. So Sham says that LeBron was in New York City recently, and I guess this is maybe when he got booed, maybe around that time. I know he was in New York that weekend. But anyway, recently LeBron James was in New York, and he was at a lunch event or having lunch with Savannah, and I think it was Kevin Love, his former teammate with the Cavaliers, and Kevin Love's wife and other intimates. And supposedly LeBron James was caught on camera saying something to the effect of, Savannah wants me to effing retire over the next year or sometime over the next year, something to that effect, right? And, me personally, I can understand why she feels that way. NBA players, they have to dedicate a lot of their time. Professional players professional athletes, they have to dedicate a lot of their time to playing the sport that they get paid to play. They have to, in many instances, put their family secondary. That's a sacrifice that they have to make. And it's an unfortunate circumstance and sacrifice because oftentimes I think if of all parties involved, it can be an adjustment for the kids. People look at the money part of it, but over time, while you and I would love to be in a situation where we're making that much money, I think the money part of it gets a little old, and then just the basic, wants of having a father, around for, ball games or football games or birthdays or all of those personal sacrifices, and with the wife. Valentine's Day goes by, you're not having, your Valentine's Day, hookups or, the going out and, or anniversary. See, these are the things that people aren't thinking about when they look at Savannah and say, oh, shut up. Isn't he making all this money? What you complain about? I swear, a lot of these dudes, man, they're miserable. A lot of these guys are miserable. They hate women. They need to just come out of the closet. Some of these guys are really, really weird, man. I can't believe some of the stuff I'm seeing LeBron James fans say to Savannah, man. There's something wrong with a lot of you guys, man. It really, truly is. And I'm not even necessarily talking about, y'all guys being on the spectrum or a lifestyle. I'm saying there's something wrong with you guys mentally. But, that's why he got you those little Barbie dolls, because he know how y'all roll. But anyway, I can understand why Savannah feels the way she feels. That's what I'm trying to get at. And you know, and you never know what life brings. Um, Kobe Bryant um, dedicated 20 years of his life to playing professional basketball. And actually, if you really look at it, he dedicated close to 30 years of his life at that time to playing basketball. And it was only really a couple years before that tragic event that he was really getting into being a father who now was more out of the limelight. Although, yeah, he still had other things he was involved in. He won the Oscar for the cartoon animation and all that. He still was always going to be a businessman, but he was getting more in tune with the children's lives. And, Savannah and Lebron still have their young daughter. And, while Bryce and Bronny are older, still be nice to have a father more in their lives than what he's available at this time. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand where she's coming from that perspective. And then, look, I don't want to. Well, yeah, I'm going to say this. Me personally, I'm just sick of LeBron James. Period. Okay, I've had LeBron James fatigue syndrome for 5 years now. I've been sick of him since. Matter of fact, scratch that. I've had LeBron James fatigue syndrome since at least 2019. I've been tired of him since then. So at this point in time, I've been more than ready for him to just get the fuck up out of here so the NBA can move on. But, I think there's something that he's going to struggle with. I think there's something he's going to struggle with because this is a guy that truly loves the limelight, and you can see it. And he's going to have a real problem once he retires not being the focal point of attention. I can see him being on Twitter a lot, trying to steal, how he does, trying to steal other people's shine, trying to steal other people's spotlight and make it a little bit about him. He's so used to that I'm having a hard time seeing him live a semi-normal existence. It's hard for a narcissist like him to do that. But anyway, tell me what you guys think about this.